Welcome back to Texas Rangers with the Boys. We are the Boys, your daily Texas Rangers podcast by a couple of pro wrestlers who love Rangers baseball. And hey, we want to thank you for making us the first listen of your day. This is your boy Kev, aka YBK Kevin Frazier. You know, it's kind of at that point where we don't really need to talk about it. I guess it's just kind of, we already all know what's going on. But I will tell you this. That banner, that 2023 World Series banner, it hangs forever. And there is still 111 games left in this still young season. And your Texas Rangers will be primed and healthy right after the Mavericks and the Stars playoff series are over. So, maybe for ratings purposes, Rangers need to, do what they need to do at this time of year. But hey, there will be cavalry coming in. Don't freak out. If you need to cry and you need to tell me about it, check me out on social media, Kevin Lee Frazier, Frazier. I'll talk you off the ledge. No problem. Also, you want to find Texas Rangers with the Boys on social media? That's going to be TX Rangers WTB. Don't forget to check out that website, TexasRangersWithTheBoys.com.
All one word.
It's only one word. And you know what else is one word? At Chilltown Hoops, where you can see, all one word. And you can see us on YouTube right here. See our faces made for radio, the Sports Fluent Network, who provides that amazing music on the intro and on the outro. Joining me from the great state of Utah, which if you've never been to Zion National Park, you owe yourself a nice trip through there. There's other beautiful places, Moab as well. But my man is getting ready to head to Vail tonight. Joining me as always, 300-pound Manimal, a.k.a. Bull. How you doing, brother? Where can they find you on socials?
Well, in real life, I'm at a Love's in Green River, Utah. Yeah, that loneliest highway in America got to me this morning, man. I was damn near asleep while I had to pull in here to this Love's to rest up a little bit, because between all of the debauchery in Nevada the last couple of days, I haven't been sleeping a ton. And
Nice.
it's kind of caught up to me this afternoon or yesterday afternoon on the road. So I end up here in the Love's parking lot to do the show. So that's what we got. But heading to Colorado for the evening, and then I guess I'll start working my way home, and I won't have to do the show next week from various hotels. And as is today, if you're watching, you can see I'm in my car, but most of the time I try not to ever go full right-wing Republican dude in his 40s, on the podcast, because that's where they get all their work done in their car. It's probably because they're terrified of their wives. But anyway, you can find me.
You might need to get some rest there, brother.
Am I I'm out of control here. Anyway, you can find me on Twitter at ManimalBull, Instagram Manimal300, and both Facebook and TikTok at Bull Pro. So it's not fun to talk about, like, some days when we talk about the Rangers, we're just talking about news, because today is not exactly the most fun day to talk about the Rangers. They're on another extended losing streak, and not a bunch of fun right now, and there aren't any real answers in sight. And before we get started with the show, today's the day. Today's it. Today is Friday, May 24th. So come on out to the Southside Preservation Hall tonight and join Matt Warpro for Slam and Destroy 2. It's going to be a big time. Chicken heads, chicken tenders, Kelly's Onion Burgers, Martin House Brewing, Starry's Ice Cream, all going to be in the house. Lots of big wrestling tonight, so come on out for a big time. Come for the wrestling, stay for the food, the beer, the the ice cream, the chocolate, everything else that's going to be in the house. And come on out and have a really good time to get your Memorial Day started right with a bunch of free beer with Matt War Pro at the Southside Preservation Hall tonight. Tonight's the big night.
Tonight. If you aren't a professional wrestling fan, one quick note there is that one of the probably the most used line in any wrestling promo besides I just did it is tonight. So that's where tonight.
My favorite still is how many promos did we see when you were carrying around that junior strap where every promo started with Kevin Douglas.
Kevin Douglas. Everybody,
oh my God,
man, got my name out there, I guess.
Man, I must have heard a promo start like that like 50 times in a row. All 50 of your title defenses, every one of the promos was Kevin Douglas.
I wonder what Chase Owens thought of that potato that Brick Savage gave him for me.
Oh, he probably didn't enjoy it.
Yeah, and I asked Brick, I said, hey, just make sure you say it kind of quietly, but notably, hey, that was from Kevin Douglas. So
beautiful.
Yeah. Just since I can't go out there and rep for myself, somebody could help a brother out a little bit, and Brick was willing to do that. Brick will also be there on Friday night.
Absolutely. Tonight.
Brick Savage will be. Yes, he will be out there. So.
Brick Savage versus Sam Stackhouse. So,
dog.
You think Brick Savage is a big dude? That's Sam Stackhouse. He's
not going to be
there somewhere about 4.5.
That's not going to be in your ring.
Don't worry about my ring.
Is it your ring?
I'm sure it will be.
Oh my God, dude! Your ring. You're not going to have a ring.
It survived Angel and Sam Stackhouse. So
okay, and it also survived that one. All the dudes in it for like battle royals and stuff.
Remember that we had like Angel stuck on the top rope, and Brent was like stuck. My foot was stuck in between Brent and Angel, and he couldn't get out. So my ring's pretty sturdy. It's pretty sturdy. Let's talk about baseball, huh?
Yeah, let's do it.
I know we've been like avoiding the inevitable. We've been
last 2 nights in a row.
There's wrestling.
Last 2 shows in a row. It's been tough. One good news: the Seattle Mariners decided that they'd help us out and got shut out and blew out by the Yankees today. So Rangers did not lose any ground in the division. So that's some positive news.
I think just hanging around is the idea, and you know how it is when you're hanging around, the goalposts start going farther and farther away from where they were originally, and the Rangers are struggling a little bit right now, trying to get just healthy enough to put a team on the field, and they're still just a handful of games, less than a handful of games out of first place. They're just a couple below 500, but at the same time, I mean, that was the idea this whole time. It doesn't matter that the results aren't what you were thinking they were going to be, and why they're at 500 or whatever the case may be, right? The case is they're still there. So, you just can't, you know how it is. The goalposts, they start getting farther away the moment that you're doing the thing that you're supposed to do and see that, it could be better.
Yeah. No, I agree. Rangers.
And I 100% agree with you. The Rangers are just sitting back here, letting Luka, let Wyatt Johnston, let those kids represent Dallas for this springtime. And then once the springtime sports are over and it becomes summer, then the Rangers are going to pick it up after the Stanley Cup final and the NBA championship are both here in Dallas to go along with that World Series trophy. Then the Rangers, they're going to pick it up and they're going to start playing World Series caliber baseball too, because that's the hope and grasp that I'm holding on to right now.
We are both grasping tightly. to that. Well, Rangers have one quick roster move. So as you called it on the spot. John Gray, 15-day DL. Then we move Cody Bradford to the 60-day, and that makes up room for Tanaka to come in here and hopefully not give up another historic home run.
He gave up a home run yesterday. I don't know if it was historic or not.
Yeah, it wasn't historic, but he did give up a homer. That's what he's known for.
His first one.
Yeah,
it was his first one since the historic one.
Oh man, it just got me. Okay, well.
Yeah, that'll do it,
that was
right?
how exciting that was.
Yeah, I figured John Gray, the moment that he left the other night, that it was going to at least be 15 days. They're hopeful that it'll be just the 15 days. If you remember correctly, they were hopeful it would just be 15 days with Nathan Eovaldi, and he's got to be over that 15 days at this point, or at least right around it. And now I wouldn't be shocked that if Sunday that TBA is him.
You called it. You said we're just going to trade Gray for Eovaldi. Maybe this is the long-term plan. That each major starter
gets everybody
one 15-day, early in the season, just to make sure that they all get rested. They all knew it, and Gray was like, "Oh, you know what? Yeah, let's just go ahead."
Eovaldi's getting close to being back. Let me
get
that 15-day stint. Yeah, so
let me do mine because especially these guys, now guys like Heaney and what's the cat that's been pitching really good lately? I can't believe I keep wanting to call him I keep wanting to call him Urena. I can't want to call him Urias or Urquidy or whatever. But these guys need to get their starts in now. Because once the big dogs start getting healthy, Andrew Heaney's going to be that lefty in the bullpen.
Yeah, hopefully
he's going to be the long man. I'm telling you, once you get some of these big shots back, I mean, get your starts in now because hopefully these guys come back and they're all healthy and we have a stacked pitching rotation. So.
You want a little bit of good news? You want a little bit of good news for Rangers stuff? Jack Leiter went back down to AAA last night. Backed a really nice outing for him. So hopefully that the last couple of starts for him have been at the big league level. He got roughed up a little bit. That isn't the end of the world for him. He was able to go back down to Sugarland for the Round Rock Express and pitched really well last night in his first start back with the Express.
Well, you heard my theory on all that. He saw Paul Skeens. It was like, maybe I need to be more of a control guy. Maybe I need to listen to this Maddox guy because I'm telling you right now, my slider ain't breaking 5 feet, and I'm not painting 100 on the corners. And whatever the hell that thing he throws at the bottom of the zone at 95 miles an hour for an out pitch, I might need to figure one of those out. So maybe
that's part of it.
Maybe Mr. Get Yours Together came and visited his house, kicked his door down in the field house, and said, "Hey, you got to pitch, man. You can't go out there and just
buddy.
Yeah, you got to pitch." So good news for Jack Leiter. First round pick. He's got to work out. It's got to work out. It's got to work out. There's no ifs, ands, or in betweens. Jack Leiter has to work out for this team. So we need it to happen. We want it to happen. So anyway, well, we do have one quick subject. We promised the people that we would talk a little bit about maybe a couple of trades that the Rangers could make. And then I feel like for you can go off the top of your head with this stuff. Little do they know you're all on memory today. This is all memory.
I got nothing going my direction today.
None of that stuff. But you've got twice the memory I do. We pulled a couple of right-handed bats. Honestly, it could be one of 100 people. But the goal here is just find a few right-handed bats that probably are going to be available. A couple of different tiers of players, not all just all-stars, but maybe a role player guy here and there, And then maybe what is it going to cost the Rangers? What do we think it might cost the Rangers to go get some of these guys? Um, First guy we talked about obviously yesterday. Got a couple of big shots. So we got 3 big shots and 3 other guys that somewhere around that, pretty good players that could really impact this team. But these 3 guys that we're starting with, these are big names, big time locker room guys, big time all-star level guys that probably wouldn't. Well, maybe a couple of them will cost you a little bit. We talked about Goldschmidt. I love Goldschmidt. I just love quality batters, guys that get out there and give quality at bats. And Goldschmidt's a professional hitter. Man, imagine him in the American League too. I mean, a lot of times guys that come to the National League like that over to the American League come over here, start seeing a few more breaking balls, and start start launching.
Yeah, I would say the only reason that the Rangers would be interested in him and at any point would be to DH anyways. But St. Louis is playing better. They're all just a couple of games under 500, just like the Rangers right now. So I don't imagine that Goldschmidt is on the market. I don't imagine that the Cardinals are going to want to pay most of that contract to send him somewhere. So I like the idea of Goldschmidt, but I would say it's probably 95% that it wouldn't be Goldschmidt right now.
But yeah, he's signed through 2024. So free agent at the end of the season.
Yeah.
And then I'm kind of checking his. The goal here is to get, to get right-handed, guys that can hit left-handed pitching. Now we know Goldschmidt is, like we said, having a struggle of a season, but historically, Goldschmidt has not struggled hitting left-handed pitching.
Yeah, no, he's normally raked his career against left-handed pitching, so it's kind of an anomaly that he's so far down. But again, I mean, although it's probably not on the Jose Abreu level, it's still a huge downfall this year for Goldschmidt.
Yeah, I mean, last year he was 295, 376, 450, 826.
And the year before that, he won the MVP. So
Yep. Gosh, you bring up Abreu, and it kind of like, oh wow, gosh, that kind of sounds really familiar.
You remember, whenever I hear about Jose Abreu right now, I think of like the Hulk Hogan part of the song was like when it comes crashing down and it hurts inside, because Abreu was such a quality player in the big leagues for such a long time, and
he looks so much smaller to me now. Like he used to look like he had a little more like size to him. Like he was a kind
Pilates, bro.
I mean, he used to be a bigger guy.
I felt like that too. I felt that same way. And the whole time he's been with Houston, and I don't know if it's maybe just where he's at in life right now, but I mean, not that I would want to say that like I'm happy for his downfall or anything like that, but it was like you could kind of see it coming with the way he looked in Houston last year, and then he kind of had the resurgence in the playoffs a little bit last year, and then season starts and it was just not good from the get-go there for Abreu. So I imagine that would be a bat that would be available if you were willing to take it on. You excited about that? Jose Abreu? Yeah, you excited about that?
Not really. Not really. Next guy on the list might be a stretch, but he's probably available because he is coming into a big contract year. Now he's not struggling too much at the plate. The slug's down a little bit, but Vladimir Guerrero Jr. also probably, with Toronto really struggling like unexpectedly. I think everybody kind of figured they would kind of stay where they were.
Yeah, at least be around a playoff team this year, and that kind of hadn't been the case this. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if Vlad is available, but I imagine that if they continue in the direction they're going and that you don't see any kind of uptick from them in the next couple of days or next couple of weeks and months, that he'll be available at the deadline. I don't know if you could talk him into sending him away right now, like how the Rangers did with Teixeira several years ago when they got the big haul back for him or whatever. But
Mm-hmm.
overall, I mean, I believe that Guerrero will probably be available at some point this year. I just don't exactly know when and where and who and what it's going to take to get him, because it's just 1 year and there's no guarantee you're going to get anything behind it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and you know how it is. The Rangers will send him like two fringy prospects that'll next year be on like the top 100 prospects in baseball again. I mean,
You
it's
know,
like it doesn't, it never fails. Like the Rangers send somebody away and they become like the next big thing. Tommy Sajasi, TK Roby, Cole Raggins. I mean, we can go on and on of guys that were just kind of like dudes here in this organization that you knew they were big leaguers, but are they going to be big league? Where are they going to play? All of that stuff, and the question always seems to work its way out is the moment they're gone.
yeah. And really, man, with Vlad, kind of the same with Goldschmidt, just a little less, a little bit less, but like, man, his slug is way down against righties and lefties right now. I mean, he's under 400. And again, I know
Yeah,
it's like league wide, and I know it's early, but anytime you see that, it's always a bit of a concern. But I mean, gosh, like, are you concerned about Julio Rodriguez? Are you concerned about Ronald Acuna? Like, you're seeing this kind of everywhere. I don't.
yeah. I
I
mean,
mean,
it's
you know
not
my theory
just.
on it. I think it's the baseball. That's just this is not a league.
Well,
This is
I
not
think
a league
also.
that doesn't that has clean hands when it comes to tampering with stuff like that. They've done it, so I don't trust them.
I know. I feel like sometimes you watch a baseball get hit and it looks like one of those like where it like starts sidewinding and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I can't
But then you
disagree
see a
with
ball
you.
get hit sometimes, and you're like, "How's that a home run?" We're not in Colorado,
Well, I don't
like
know.
anyway.
Yeah,
But
it's very much. I mean, you
side
see a ball get
conversation.
hit.
Well,
Yeah,
let's keep
no.
going down this list. We got some other cool names in here. Now, two guys from Tampa that one guy I'm really interested in. For one, the versatility, because gosh, I mean, you love versatility these days, especially with the Rangers needing guys every position in some form or another. But Paredes, I think it's Isaac Paredes.
Isaac Paredes,
Isaac
yeah.
Paredes. I
Well,
mean,
I
he
mean,
did really
he's your
well for Tampa.
prototypical third base, first base, DH. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
outside of that, you're not getting a whole lot of depth out of him anywhere else. I mean, but the guy can hit. The guy can hit. I doubt that he'd be available just based on the idea that Tampa Bay, if they're going to send him, it will probably be in an off season, just because they've got the years on him, and we'd have to see. But I don't think Tampa Bay is really that far out of it to where they would be dealing. Paredes, but I could see him dealing the other guy.
Well, remember though, they've got that one cat, Caminero,
Yeah.
that like they're gonna have to have a spot for him, and that
Yeah.
kid
Well,
Camanero's pretty good. So it's like,
again though, I mean, we've talked about this 100 times. You don't just send away Major League Baseball talent just because you got somebody that might be.
well, yeah, and I mean, you got Yandy Diaz at first. I mean, I guess he can DH, and or Paredes could DH, but I mean, Tampa's been known to make these kinds of moves, and of course, Paredes will come to
Well, you
Texas
never know. Yandy might
back
be
a buck
available as
50.
well.
Right. And well, yeah, if Paredes is available, Yandy might be. And either one of them could come to Texas, bat a buck 50, and whoever we send back ends up, Pete Fairbanks.
Being
So
a MLB All First Team in 5 years. Yeah, there's
now
no
we
doubt.
know
There's no doubt that'll be how it happens, regardless. So
we
I don't
know
know how
Randy
it happens, but
Arozarena
it sure does.
was kind of being thrown around out there. They were asking for a lot though for him. Now Rosarena definitely not a bad. I mean, I don't have. I mean, it also kind of
I
be
don't
poetic,
know.
kind of
I
cool to
need.
have him
I,
have him and Adolis Garcia on the same team in the same outfield. That'd be kind of cool. I don't know. I don't hate
I
it.
don't know what you would need for him as far as like what his years are. I mean, is this his last year of his contract? Or are you gonna have years behind it?
Let me
All of
see.
that stuff. I mean, because really, I mean, taking on an outfield depth that's going to be around 3 years is going to get paid for the next 3 years at least. I don't know that the Rangers are going to be willing to take that on, especially with their young outfielders that they want to see develop. But
And you're gonna not want
I
to hear
mean,
this,
I
but
would say this right here, that if Randy Arozarena came over here, that would be a really bad sign for the Rangers, because that just shows that the growth and the development of Evan Carter and Wyatt Langford they're worried about.
I mean, you say that, but like I would say, if you're going to get a Rosarena, the guy that probably might be part of that trade might be Leody Tavares, and you move. You have a Wyatt Langford, or I'm sorry, Evan Carter at center field, and then a Rosarena is also can play any of the outfield, though he sets at left field. Now he's not a free agent until 2027. So
Yeah, and
he's
that's
here
what
for a
I'm just
while.
worried that would be. I mean, that would be a bad thing for, in my opinion, for the Rangers if they get to where they're sending for Randy Arozarena.
So again, another one of those things that probably, if you had the talent on the squad, it'd probably find a way to. It'd probably work itself out. Now there's other guy, not nearly as big of a name, and you probably wouldn't have to give nearly as much, and you probably could have got him as a free agent. But Ranger Killer hits right-handers. You don't really owe him anything because he's not going to be a guy that's going to be part of your long-term plans, nor does he create any kind of long-term logjam for you. And you probably wouldn't be out a ton. Free agent at the end of the year. Ranger Killer, Tommy Pham for the White Sox. I wouldn't hate it because it gives you depth. It gives you a bat. It gives you a little more ability to move some of those outfielders into a DH role if you needed to. And he probably just not going to cost you hardly anything.
No, it would cost you something like Bubba.
Yeah.
Probably more.
Well,
More than that, actually. I mean, actually, honestly, it would cost more than that, because at this point, if you're looking at Tommy Pham and they know you're desperate, and they're gonna want more than that if you're gonna spend it, and it would just be another case of the Rangers spending a prospect on a player that they could have signed for the league minimum 2 weeks after the season started.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'll say this, guys. If you can't tell, Bull's really not up for a trade right now. If you can tell, every single one.
No, I think that it's. I
But
mean, like,
but, it, but this is not a bad one.
but at the same time, I mean, like, none of these guys are, just like, what are we gonna do with them? What are we gonna do? Goldschmidt's gonna DH every day, and then, Rosarena's gonna play left field every day. So then you've got a decision to make on what you're gonna do with Evan Carter. If you're gonna send Leody Tavares to Tampa Bay in a trade, now you've got no. I mean, who are you going to play in center field? Evan Carter every day, so now he's got to hit lefties every day. Travis Jankowski can play center field, but he don't hit lefties either. So, I just don't know that. The move is the right thing right now. I mean, I feel like if they're going to be looking at a move, it would be probably, closer to the deadline, once they figure out what they really don't have in things. But at the same time, I just don't think that, like, any of those names are going to just be like the thing that's going to change it up for the Rangers. I just don't think they have like some magic move that's gonna make them a better team, because none of those guys. I mean, the reason those guys are all available is either they're too expensive for the team that they're on right now, or they're not playing worth a flip.
Gotcha. Well, hey,
Outside of Tommy Pham is like the most, like, of all those guys, is the most likely, I would think, for the Rangers to make a move on. And that one just pisses me off because of the fact that he was a free agent and nobody even signed him until like May.
Well, let's before we get into the box score, let's go ahead and let me tell you real quick about our exclusive content. Down on the Farm with the Boys, we cover all things Rangers minor league. This last episode was really awesome. We did our top 10 And I'm telling you right now, those top two on the show, if you've already listened, you know who we're talking about. If you haven't, you ought to go check it out. A lot of good stuff in there. Makes you, if you're down because the team is like 2 out of their last 11 or 12 games, there's a lot of positives going on in the minor leagues, and we got a lot of good news to talk about on there. And so a couple of those teams are playing really, really well. So go to our website, TexasRangersWithTheBoys.com.
Oh, sorry, I took a drink. All one
No,
word.
I know I set you up. All one word. Or you can go to our Spotify page where you can sign up for $1.99 a month audio to make us your one-stop shop for all things Rangers organization-wide. You could also check us out on subscription here at Chilltown Hoops, all one word, as well on the Sports Flint Network. We got 3 levels of subscriptions. I told you I would tell you what those are going to be, and I totally dropped the ball, but I will let you guys know what they will cost and what you get with each subscription level. And I'm telling you right now, you won't regret it. Down on the Farm with the Boys is it's a passion project for us here on the podcast. So go check it out. You won't regret it. Good stuff. All right, man. We got to do it.
You kind of like I mean, you got your Zach Wheeler fantasy stats that you needed, I guess.
I mean,
you want to take a positive out of this.
Yeah, I'm smashing fantasy.
I didn't think I don't know where to start and where to end on this thing. The Rangers, I mean, they got an early home run from Garcia, and then just Zach Wheeler doing Zach Wheeler things. I mean, he shut them down from there on out, and there wasn't a lot to be had there. 7 innings, 5 hits, 2 earned for Wheeler. He did that on like 91 pitches too. He probably could have thrown an 8th inning if they wanted him to, but he was in and out, up and down real quick. The Rangers just not a ton there. Garcia had the home run. They everything else just singles, and Zeke Durant had a 2-out RBI single, which, I mean, you like to see a 2-out RBI. And then the Rangers just 4 opportunities with runners in scoring position all day. Couple of double plays. But gosh, just nothing real pretty to look at. Heaney, not bad. Another error that just puts him in a bad spot, and he's not able to get the innings that you'd like to get from him. I guess if you want something that's fun about the Rangers today, Andrew Heaney's ERA now is 4.69. If we got anything there, I thought that was kind of funny. Maybe not.
This is just shows what you gotta reach a bit here and there. I mean, Evan Carter got an outfield assist. There you go. Heaney with the 11 base runners over 3 1/3, probably.
It didn't help his cause at all.
No, that probably didn't. Nice to see Grant Anderson get his earned run average under 10.
Outside of the home run,
Jose Leclerc had a good inning.
And outside of the home run, Tanaka wasn't bad at all. He had a couple of strikeouts in a couple of innings, and outside of that home run, not bad at all. I mean, you're playing in a game where you're up 6 runs instead of down 5 runs. It's a really nice inning from Tanaka, and you've got some positives to look at. But because you're in a game where you needed him to put zeros on the board the whole time, it hurts. So just not a ton to just be stoked about as a Rangers fan or anything like that. But I mean, I guess the best thing about it is they're leaving Philadelphia and heading out. So
and the backup catcher situation feels like it's starting to become a situation, because Andrew Kisner is just like absolutely non-existent.
It feels like it's an out, right? Every time.
I mean, it is an out. He's 116 with an OPS of 322, and I mean, we didn't expect him to come in and bat 280 or anything, but we were hoping something around 230 with a little bit of pop. he's had some real struggles.
I'd have been happy with like 200 and some pop.
Yeah, and it puts a lot of pressure on Jonah Heim, I think, to like feel like he has to go out there and like, play. I mean, because it's like if he goes out there and DHs, that still puts a hole in the lineup, like because that DH spot could be somebody else that's not batting 116.
Well, and I mean that hitting spot late in games where Heim is DHing, you want to go to a batter that gives you an opportunity to do something there, and then you lose your DH and you got to play the game. Like, I mean, if in that 13 inning game the other day or whatever, Bochy loses his DH right there, he completely depletes his bench just by having Kisner catching. And that's not okay.
Yeah.
In my opinion, it's time to let Sam Huff get an extended look as your backup catcher and let him be either sink or swim, and know that when his options are out next year, that you feel just fine about either A, keeping him on this squad, or B, letting him become a free agent. And because if the Rangers DFA Sam Huff, someone is going to take a flyer on him.
Of course.
He's not going to slip through. He's not going to sneak through. The guy mashes in AAA. Like, I mean, if you look at his numbers, he's a north of 800 OPS guy in AAA. I mean, for 2 years running, and I mean,
he's a catcher,
and it was a 900 plus lower level. So, and on top of that, he's a pretty decent receiver behind the plate. He's not a liability behind the plate, even being a big dude like he is, and he's got that pop that is just unlimited potential, and you just never know.
Yeah. I definitely. I mean, in the MLB, to be a good starting catcher, you only got to bat like 230, and hit like 15 homers and drive in 50 runs, and you're like above average.
Yeah, you're at least.
I mean,
speaking of good catchers, JT Realmuto just kills the Rangers.
Well,
or he just killed them this week. I mean, he was really good. The hardest part about this week's series to me was that we had to talk about all 3 games all in 3 different days and like focus on it all. And that was the hardest part of this whole series, is just knowing that we can't just kind of like skip around it whenever, like a weekend series or whatever.
Well, let's get into the weekend series here.
Yeah, Jose Urena tomorrow for the Rangers. Bailey Ober for the Twins. He's a pretty good little pitcher. He's still learning. He's still learning and getting better, but I could see him being pretty decent at certain points for them. All their pitchers have, like, the Twins must score runs because all their pitchers have like winning records with 5 ERAs.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like the Rangers, if you like look, like these guys that are pitching for the Twins, they basically have the same ERA as Andrew Heaney, except instead of being 0-7, they're like 4-2.
Yeah.
So Chris Paddock will go against Michael Lorenzen on Saturday. That's let's 110. See, that's a 110 start. Yeah. And then Sunday is also
another 110.
Yeah, and I wouldn't be shocked if it ends up being Nathan Eovaldi in that spot there. And then Pablo Lopez, who's their best pitcher, again, another guy, 4 wins, 4 losses, 4.72 ERA, and it seems like they're in games all the time with the 4.5 ERA. And if the Rangers, if Gray and those guys all had 4.5 ERAs, well, you've seen what's happened.
Yeah, well, that's because the Rangers have had a lot of problems scoring runs. Now Minnesota has a pretty strong lineup overall. Like they're a pretty good team. I mean, they had a nice little winning streak there early on to start the season, and up and down that whole lineup. I mean, you're looking at all the way down to number 7, to Castro at 759 OPS, and it doesn't. It just gets. It just goes up as you go up in that.
They hit.
Yeah, they got some guys.
They hit up there in Minnesota, and the Rangers aren't hitting right now. And maybe some of these good young pitchers that have got some high ERAs, maybe that'll be some cooking that the Rangers need. But you mean, you just got to keep watching. And again, it's still May. It's not. This is just going to be Memorial Day weekend, bro. So it sucks that the tough stretch is early in the season right now, but something's going to turn around and it'll start going their way again. But it's just it's a long grind every year.
Sweet. Well, hey, thanks everybody for tuning in. It's been a tough week, but the good thing is that we still have baseball. We still have a team to root on. We get to watch the games.
And we're still the world champions, baby.
Still the world champs, dadgummit. So, let's keep supporting this team. We've supported them this long. And if you were a Ranger fan all the way up until last year, look, like you've been through worse than this. I know it. So, again, thanks everybody for tuning in. Don't forget to check us out on social media, TX Rangers, WTB. Don't forget to check out that website, TexasRangersWithTheBoys.com.
That's all one word.
Where you can check out our exclusive content. Down on the Farm with the Boys, we cover all things Rangers, minor league. Don't forget, also big shout out and thank you to our farm hands who are our dedicated, faithful, and don't forget to check us out right here on the Sports Fluent Network at Chilltown Hoops on YouTube. If you like the video format, we like it. We love it. Glad to be here, having a good old time. For the 300-pound man, this is your boy Kev. We are is that how okay, yeah, that. We are Texas Rangers with the boys. And guess what we're doing? We're signing out.